winter weather outlook.
And at night.
This is an incredibly deadly time of year.
Yeah, it's brutal.
The Winter Weather Prep Rally continues all day on the Weather Channel.
Oh, remember that? If you live in Atlanta, Georgia, you sure do. Cars stuck on the interstate for days from last January. This was due to Winter Storm Leon. Well, what if another ice or snowstorm hit the city this season? Our winter weather expert Tom Nizzle compares Atlanta and 4 other cities which are least prepared when it comes to winter weather. That's ahead in our Winter Prep Rally this half hour. Welcome back to Weather Center Live. I'm Kelly Cass along with Chris Warren, and we're getting you ready for the cold. And for millions, it's coming very soon. Very cold.
Very cold, very soon. First, though, we want to show you what's happening on the radar right now, basically where it's raining and where there's maybe a chance eventually to see some snow. So let's go take a look at it right now, and we'll show you the areas that have rain. And there's some snow showing up a little bit in parts of Michigan. That's the blue on the map. That shows us where the snow's coming down. At least what the radar is estimating is snow at the moment. And you see some of that in parts of upstate New York. Temperatures just above the freezing mark in many areas here. Detroit dealing with the rain, but that rain is coming to an end right now. I might see a few showers later on. It's really going to be about it, though, for you, and cooler air behind it. You're also going to notice the winds. The wind at times gusting around 50 miles an hour in Michigan City. Those winds once again coming down Lake Michigan and turning around. A bit on the windy side also in Cincinnati. Winds gusting up to 39 miles an hour. Brown's in town this evening, and this is what we're expecting here throughout game time. We're looking at a chance for some rain right on through 10 o'clock. So most of the game, there'll be a chance for it. Not going to rain all game long by any means. Temperatures are going to be in the 40s, so it's going to be on the cool side. Feeling even cooler, it's those winds, about 15 to 20 miles an hour at times. And now let's talk about that cool. Let's go to Kelly.
And Chris, you know, not everybody's upset about the cold. I know some skier friends here in the Northeast who are very excited about it. We've got to build up that base, though, across the Adirondacks. Killington's already open, but we need to get more and more of those ski resorts open for business. And there you see it, the blue indicating some of that snow as we go through late tonight into tomorrow morning around Saranac Lake, eventually into the Green Mountains of Vermont, over towards northern New Hampshire, and especially Maine. And it's still going to be snowing. At lunchtime on Friday, we're talking about several inches of snow coming down. Places like Caribou, where you've already seen about a foot of snow so far this month of November. So you're off to a busy start when it comes to snowfall. Here is a look at how much we are expecting from this system. About 1 to 3 inches in that darker shade of blue up here in the heart of the Adirondack Park, up on top of Mount Marcy, Saranac, and also around Whiteface Mountain. You'll see the snow also accumulating over towards northern Vermont and into northern New Hampshire. But look at the purple on the map. That grabs your attention. 5 to 8 in that lighter shade of purple, but in that darker purple, it's more like 8 to 12 inches. So Caribou, we've got you in the 5 to 8 range. Here's a look at what's happening as far as the cold air. We've got a 1-2 punch. We've got the first cold air mass moving in tomorrow, and then another one that's going to come this weekend. And this one is much more significant. The second round of cooler air, it's going to have places like Minneapolis and Chicago shivering with those high temperatures barely getting above the freezing mark. And even here in the Northeast, we're going to see some changes as well. Tomorrow, highs in the upper 30s for Buffalo. Saturday, not too bad across the region. We're talking temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. It's really going to be the Monday into Tuesday time frame when you're really going to feel that cold air out there. Chris, over to you.
Hey, Kelly, our winter prep rally continues right now. We're getting you ready for the upcoming snow and cold, and it is coming. Some cities, though, are better prepared than others. Winter weather expert Tom Nizzle shows us the 5 most vulnerable cities.
That's right. So let's get right to that list of the 5 most vulnerable winter cities in the U.S. And we start at number 5 with Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. has that huge population in the U.S. In fact, that whole metro corridor from Baltimore and up to Philadelphia. Not only the big population, but when they get hit with a winter storm, they can be massive, producing more than 2 feet at times. And when you have the nation's capital and the fact that the federal government can be shut down, this really deserves a nod. So number 5 will be Washington, D.C. On to number 4, Raleigh, North. And in fact, that whole quarter from Raleigh through Charlotte and into Greenville, Raleigh's not only known for snow, but they're known for ice as well. We have an effect called cold air damming, where we bring cold air in at low levels of the atmosphere, and that could produce some significant ice events there, and they are not set up to handle that kind of winter weather in Raleigh. Number 3, Little Rock, Arkansas. Little Rock is interesting, and in fact, all of Arkansas is, because they can tap moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, and they also get Arctic air from the plains. This can result in major snows and major ice storms. They've had a number of these in history, and once again, Little Rock, as much as you try, Mother Nature is going to overwhelm you. Then we go down into the southern plains. Dallas, a huge population, and Dallas is an area where cold air can shoot right down from the plains, lies along low surfaces there. Dallas is known for icing dangers in particular, and they certainly are not set up in a cost-benefit analysis for the city to pre-treat or treat those roads. Certainly our number 2. Dallas is a relatively flat area, though, everybody. We're going to go to Atlanta, Georgia, and by the way, if you've never been to Atlanta, there's a lot of hills in Atlanta. You put those hills down and you put some ice down in Atlanta, and you're not going anywhere. And we saw this last year where it stranded tens of thousands of motorists in an ice and snow event. My number 1 most vulnerable city in the United States for winter weather, Atlanta, Georgia.
But hopefully lessons were learned from what happened last winter. By the way, that picture was taken right outside the Weather Channel headquarters last year.
Right outside that wall over here.
And it was very bad. I mean, we had a lot of people stuck in their cars for hours that night.
And the thing is, it doesn't take much to cripple this city here in Atlanta. I mean, you get a half an inch of snow. If it sticks, if it stays on the ground, this is what can happen.
Yeah. And a lot of people spinning their tires, unfortunately, in the ice and the snow, causing fires, car fires, because of all the friction. But yeah, we've had a lot of problems.
And a lot of people having problems for days and weeks. I mean, people were expecting to get home in an hour, maybe 2, and they were in their cars for 13, 14, 15 hours.
So a lot of people have post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, I think a form of it.
All right, another thing that can stress you out, an avalanche, right? It's not that unusual, actually, but they do happen on a ski slope, and that can be dangerous, trapping people underneath feet of snow.
But rescue teams have a way to search for survivors below the surface. Sam Champion reports.
Avalanches, they're one of winter's most extraordinary displays of raw power.
Oh my God.
And every winter, that raw power takes a deadly toll. Last year, 35 people lost their lives in avalanches in the U.S. alone. Nearly half of those victims, skiers. That grim number repeated year after year. But the Copper Mountain Ski Patrol is fighting back. To save lives in slides, you could say you need dogged commitment.
Right here. Good boy. Good boy, Baloo.
Their weapon on the front line of Alpine Search and Rescue. For 20 years, their elite K9 Avalanche Rescue Unit. Black Lab Baloo is on the team.
See this long nose? We really think those are filled with scent cells, if you will, and that's what he uses. Humans, I guess, are pretty stinky, and when they're in the snow, dogs really can locate them.
This mock drill shows how it works.
Without a dog, the only way that somebody's going to be found is if they have an article of clothing or a body part sticking above the snow, or they're wearing an avalanche beacon and their companion rescue partners that they're skiing with that day know how to use them.
It can take a couple of years to train a dog to do this work. 6-month-old Mason is still just learning the ropes. It may seem like playtime, but this is all serious work.
It's pretty much a glorified game of hide and seek for these guys. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy.
Thank God for man and woman's best friend right there.
And an important game of hide and seek.
Exactly. Well, we want you to see and hear this amazing video of a tornado in Italy.
And we're going to show you this whole clip in its entirety coming up.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 66. Winds light and variable. Friday, partly cloudy, high 79. Winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, a few clouds, low 66. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Alaska. There's only one place you can stand on top of the world, experience nature on its own terms, and create a little wildlife of your own. Dance to a different drummer and do something you've never done before. Then just when you thought you'd seen it all, you realize it's only Tuesday. Begin your adventure at AlaskaBeyondYourDreams.com.
We were flattered when Regenerist beat $100 cream, flabbergasted when we creamed a $300 cream. For about $30, Regenerist Microsculpting Cream hydrates better than over 15 of America's most expensive luxury creams. Regenerist. Olay, your best beautiful.
Hey, Melissa, how cool is it that you can save up to $35 when you open a Walmart credit card account this holiday season?
Super cool.
Hey, with all those great savings, you're going to need a bigger stocking.
I'm way ahead of you. What?
What?
You'll get $25 back when you spend $75 on your new account. Then you can get another $10 when you spend $75 more.
Santa loves me.
How does he feel about me?
He thinks you're okay.
Walmart. More ways to Christmas joy.
19 years ago, we thought, wow, how is there no way to tell the good from the bad? So we gave people the power of the review. And now Angie's List is revolutionizing local service again. You can easily buy and schedule services from top-rated providers. Conveniently stay up to date on progress and effortlessly turn your photos into finished projects with our SnapFix app. Visit angieslist.com today.
Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
It's crazy at our house for the holidays. Everybody shows up.
We shop at Burlington because we're getting the kids ready, we're getting the house ready.
Great prices, dresses, shoes, wine glasses. I got everything at Burlington. Amazing.
The Dueler tires on Terrence Knighton's truck are engineered to be Bridgestone's best SUV tires. And now they have an 80,000-mile tread-wear warranty.
Guess we're going to be here a while.
First time on a treadmill?
What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
With an 80,000-mile tread-wear warranty, the Dueler tires are Bridgestone's best SUV tires. Go to BridgestoneTire.com to find a Bridgestone dealer near you.
We all think about life insurance. But when we start worrying about tomorrow, we miss out on the things that matter today. At AXA, we offer advice and help you break down your insurance goals into small, manageable steps. Because when you plan for tomorrow, it helps you live for today. Can we help you take a small step? For advice, retirement, and life insurance, connect with AXA.
Just like an interception. I bet you didn't see this one coming.
Up your game with the new Fritos Chili Pizza. A large for $12. Add a mega chocolate chip cookie for just $5 more.
Better ingredients, better pizza, better football. Papa John's.
Welcome back, everyone. We still have an active radar picture way down here in the deep South Texas area, and this is actually a good thing. We have needed this rain with a drought that's been really bad for the Lone Star State for quite some time. But get this, San Antonio, you have picked up about 5 inches of rain over the past few days. You're pretty much just looking at some sprinkles where you are right now, but we're still focusing on some heavier rains down between Corpus Christi and Brownsville, Texas. Nothing severe, just a good soaking rain here on some of the farmland and ranch land of Texas. Now we're going to track this batch of moisture work its way eastward across the Gulf of Mexico and Florida. Have you been enjoying that beautiful, dry, sunny weather lately? Well, we're about to get hit with a slug of moisture eventually moving in just in time for the weekend. So plan accordingly. Orlando could see some very heavy rain, as a matter of fact, during the day on Sunday, and then it looks like it's going to scoot on off toward the East Coast by Sunday evening. Here's a look at the big picture of Virginia. We've got some thunderstorms going here. In fact, there's Norfolk. You can see we got some heavy rain going on right over the city of Norfolk. And I believe we've got a camera to show you exactly what's going on here in southeastern Virginia. There it is, VDOT showing us some interstate there. And you can see the headlights are on. Obviously, it's dark, but the windshield wipers, I'm sure, are going because we have some heavy rain that is moving across Norfolk, Virginia right now. Also, looking at another vantage point here, you can see Virginia Beach. Some folks are actually walking in the rain. And it's not really heavy here for now, but we are going to be seeing some of that heavy rain eventually moving into Virginia Beach, kind of like what we're seeing right now in Norfolk. And then we have another line that's moving through Richmond, Virginia right now. The oranges and yellow, that indicates the heavier downpours, and that also correlates to where we're seeing some lightning strikes out there. This is real-time lightning going on right now, southwest of Richmond, even northeast of Richmond as well, and over towards the Delmarva Peninsula. Earlier, we were tracking severe weather across this region, but thankfully, no severe warnings. You can see some heavy rain pushing into the Durham area. Watch out, Raleigh. It is coming your way. Chris, over to you.
All right, Kelly, let's go ahead right now and take a look atop the Space Needle, looking back at the city of Seattle. And if you look closely, you can kind of see how the camera's shaking a little bit. And the reason for that, it's windy. And let's take a look around. We're going to look now just off. This is almost due west, looking out over the Puget Sound, the sun kind of sneaking in between the clouds. That'll happen from time to time in between rain showers in western Washington. You will see that rain occasionally. And also here you can see that camera shaking as well. So we're looking at some wet weather, windy at times. Then we're going to take a look a little bit farther down the coast in California in a completely different story. But we're starting off with this story, and that's an area of low pressure moving into BC, and with it comes the rain and the showers, and that's what we're seeing right now. Some snow in the Olympic Mountains, getting a little bit of a break right now in downtown Seattle. Whidbey Island seeing some showers. You head I-5 into Portland, Oregon, dealing with some showers, but it is windy. Gusts at times in Victoria, that's on Vancouver Island, 49-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Warm and dry, though, in Southern California. You have the offshore flow. It's offshore on a larger scale. Smaller scale, you could have some onshore happening. But generally speaking here, the offshore wind, this is a pattern that sets up with the wind going through the mountain passes and canyons and up and over. When it goes up and over, it warms by compression, also dries out the air mass. When it goes through the passes and canyons, it helps speed things up. All three of those means it's bad news for fire conditions, increases that. In a small scale, you do have a little bit of onshore winds going on, but generally it's offshore, and we're looking in some cases 15-mile-an-hour winds. So dealing with the drier conditions inland, San Bernardino, Palm Springs, 8-9% humidity, and then oceanside here, you have a little bit more of an onshore happening, and you have 21%. Oxnard, similar story, 31% humidity, and it's warm. You know it's offshore winds also when you have this heat this close to the cool waters of the Pacific Ocean. It means the air's coming from inland. Kelly?
It may be hot there, but Chris, the Weather Channel is tracking an Arctic outbreak headed toward much of the eastern half of the country. We could start to see images like these. Temperatures dropping 15 to 20 degrees below where they should be. When will it arrive and who will be affected? Carl Parker has the answers next as we head out to the lab.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hi, Anthony. How much does my discount double check save me?
About $150.
Done.
Insurance, find me money.
I got you $1.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you get to a better state.
All great heroes start somewhere.
Where are we going? How should I know? Live on the flippin' frozen tundra.
From DreamWorks Animation comes the untold story of how four brothers became the Penguins of Madagascar. Skipper.
Grab your coconuts and hold them tight.
Kowalski.
We're approaching our target.
Rico.
He's working on a whole nother level.
And Private.
We'll need a diversion.
You're up, Private. You just mermaid my day.
DreamWorks Penguins of Madagascar.
Crikey!
Rated PG, November 26th.
From restoring damage in just one room to an entire building. Turn to the cleanup team that's here in your community and here to help at 1-800-SERVE-PRO, like it never even happened.
If you missed this Sunday night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, every Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
I want to find one girl to help my brand to go on.
I'm excited. I'm going to work for DBF.
I'm gonna kill this thing.
There's a lot of responsibility, maybe more than we were prepared for.
This is an opportunity.
Don't blow it.
House of DVF, Sunday at 10, only on E!
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 66. Winds light and variable. Friday, partly cloudy, high 79. Winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, a few clouds, low 66. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Shot. Let's go Twins right, 24 stretch.
24 stretch, all diamond. Twins right, 24 stretch, all diamonds on 2 ready.
When the game's on the line,
Hit them with a hard count. See if they'll tip their hand.
the NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
They're blitzing up the gut. Get out of the pocket.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
Hurry! There's a hot offer for heartburn sufferers. Now try Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com. Hurry! It's free this week only. No pill relieves heartburn faster. Get Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer, and our big Idaho potato truck is still missing. So my buddy here is going to help me find it. There we go! It's out there somewhere, spreading the word about America's favorite potato, heart-healthy Idaho potatoes, and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. If you see it, I hope you'll let us know. Always look for the Grown in Idaho seal.
At Ancestry, we call it a hint. Simply type in a name and follow the Ancestry leaf far into your family's past. A past filled with stories that intrigue and inspire. And in doing so, reveal the one unique, improbable, and completely remarkable.
PCmatic won first place in the Virus Bulletin Rap Test, the most prestigious security competition in the world. PCmatic from the United States outperformed all its foreign competition. This victory is independent third-party validation that PCmatic is the best at blocking viruses and keeping your computer safe from modern threats like CryptoLocker. At $50 for 5 computers for 1 year, PCmatic is a great value, but PCmatic is much more. PCmatic makes your computers faster and more reliable even after years of use. PCmatic supports Windows XP, keeping it secure and running as good as the day you bought it. PCmatic has a full, no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee. And PCmatic is supported by Americans whose first language is English. To get top-rated, world-class security that also keeps your computers running great, go to PCmatic.com. That's PCmatic.com.
Call Humana now at 1-866-680-4971.
If you missed this Sunday night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, every Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Watch out, here he goes. The weather interrupted a Florida rapper's music video shoot. First his hat, and then he goes in the drink. This is Presto Flow in St. Petersburg, Florida, and just amazing to see that happen on camera. He did get hurt, by the way.
He did get hurt?
Yes, he did. We found out that his production company did post this video on YouTube last week. He cut up his leg pretty bad. They took him to the emergency room, but he's doing okay now.
Now, it could help his career, though, because this video right here, and add 2 or 3 more, but it's already been viewed more than 1.6 million times. And we understand his most recent music video, it's been viewed about 4,000 times.
Right. So we wish him well. We wish him the best. But yeah, that's what happens. Sort of living on the edge right there and falling on down. You don't see him actually fall, but it's not all.
You see him fall, you don't see him land.
Right, exactly. Carl Parker joining us now from the lab. And Carl, it just hurts watching that, right?
Yeah, and that happened to me when I was shooting my rap video not long ago, too. So I can definitely
Any video of that, Carl?
What's that?
Any video of that?
No video of that, no. Right. And you definitely would not want to see me rapping. So let's talk about what's going on with our winter weather. And we're watching an area of low pressure now around the lakes and moving over into the northeast. And with that, we're going to get a pretty good bit of snow in Maine primarily and also in the mountains of New England. So here's the water vapor loop, first of all. And there's the upper level low right there. What that's going to do is transfer energy to a developing surface low along the coast, and that's going to come up into New England tomorrow. A little bit of snow in northern parts of Michigan today, about 1 to 2 inches, generally speaking. Those are the types of reports that have come in so far. Not a lot of it. And as we take a look at the model forecast going forward, what we're expecting is that there's going to be snow developing across interior parts of the Northeast tomorrow. So it's going to be the Adirondacks and the Green and White Mountains, as well as into Maine. It's going to be really coming down in the northern part of Maine for the better part of the day tomorrow, and then we'll finally be winding down by tomorrow evening. So here's a look at the forecast in Caribou. Snow comes in earnest, we think, by mid-morning, continues through the middle of the day, and then begins to taper off in the afternoon. And all told, there could be several inches of snow for you. 5 to 8 is what we've got in general in northern Maine, and about 1 to 3 in the Adirondacks, as well as into western parts of New York State. We've had a very snowy start there in Maine. In Bangor, average for the month of November is 2.3. Look at that, a foot of snow already with that last storm. And we've had about a foot in Caribou, and our average for the month is 10.5. Now, I want to tell you about a new storm coming in next week. You've probably heard that it's going to get cold next week across the Midwest and the East. And then along with that cold, we're watching an area of low pressure that's going to drop through the Midwest and then move over into the Northeast. But there are really significant model differences as to what exactly that low is going to be, what the character of that low is going to be, and what track it's going to take. So this is the latest GFS model, the American model, showing the low towards the Ohio Valley, and that would mean a stripe of snow across parts of the Midwest, the plains there, anywhere from, say, northern Iowa and into northern parts of Illinois, then Michigan, and then eventually over into northern parts of New England. Now compare that to the European model. Very different scenario here. The European model showing you low pressure that comes down and across the lakes, but is much farther north and is much stronger, and there's a lot more precip wrapping back and into that cold air in the western part of the lake. So take a look at the difference with the precip pattern from the European model. What it's showing is a really significant snowstorm for the Twin Cities, as well as much of Wisconsin and a lot of northern Michigan, certainly so in the UP, talking about potentially more than a foot of snow in that scenario. So that's really different as compared to the GFS model. And then when we look at the ensemble members of these models, they're really all over the place at this point. So the upshot is that we don't know exactly where the snow is going to be, but Chris and Kelly, we do think that there is certainly potential for a big snowstorm in the Midwest by the middle of next week. Back to you.
Hey, we got to get everybody ready for it, right? Are you ready?
That's right.
Are you?
Of course I'm ready.
Okay.
Always ready.
Well, the people of northern Maine, they've already been dealing with it, right?
That's right. Coming up next, we're going to help you get prepared for the snow, the ice, and what some people call the bitter cold.
It's coming. We'll be right back in about 60 seconds.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 66. Winds light and variable. Friday, partly cloudy, high 79. Winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, a few clouds, low 66. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
From the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta, you're watching Weather Center Live. And look out, here it comes. An Arctic invasion like we haven't felt since last winter. It's about to turn very cold for a very big part of the country. And we are here to get you ready for it. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Kelly Cass.
And I'm Chris Warren. Before that big Arctic invasion arrives, though, millions will get a kind of a 1-2 punch of cold air and snow, and consider it the appetizer before the frozen entree.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to look at it. We've got the first front coming through, means a little bit of business, but the second one, yeah, that one means big time business here across the Midwest and especially across the plains. It's going to get very cold. Temperatures not even getting above the freezing mark for many of you as we head into next week. Here's a look at what's going on right now. We've got a chilly rain from upstate New York on into Michigan as well, where temperatures have been in the 40s. It's also been very windy, by the way, and that has you zipping up that rain jacket for sure. Look at Saranac Lake. We've been watching your temperature drop all evening long, getting very close to the freezing mark right now, and that little bit of blue you see showing up on the radar, that is actually snow being detected across those higher elevations in the Adirondacks, probably around 4,000 feet or so. You can see also that wet weather back towards Watertown. Syracuse being impacted by a chilly rain as well. There's Detroit. It is raining. It is 47 degrees. Not a very pleasant evening underway. Cleveland, we've also got the rain showers around with those temperatures in the mid-40s. I mentioned the wind. Yeah, we've got that going on as well. Look at these winds. They're serious around the Michigan City area, gusting close to 50 miles per hour. We got some serious wave action out there on the lower end of Lake Michigan, by the way. Fort Wayne, you're gusting to 35. Indianapolis gusting over 30 miles per hour. Cincinnati, yeah, we've got some rain showers too that are starting to wane away right now. Temperatures are in the mid-40s, but you still have the chance for seeing more wet weather as we go through the next couple of hours. And that's not really good news because you've got a football game that's going on here. Bengals taking on the Cleveland Browns, and it looks like the wet weather will continue right through about 10 o'clock, kind of off and on throughout the game. And those temperatures are going to be in the 40s, but feeling colder when you factor in that west-northwest wind, occasionally gusting as high as 20 miles per hour. So the rain jackets, the thick ones, those will come in handy tonight. Well, it's about to turn cold for millions by the weekend. And Chris, you've got more about that.
That's right, Kelly. And where it's going to be cold, there's also going to be a chance of seeing some snow. Other spots, it's going to be a guarantee of seeing some snow, just about a guarantee. But first, we're going to look at what the computer shows us the radar is going to look like in the coming hours. We're going to go through time here. The green, that is the rain. The blue, including around Saranac Lake, is the snow. And you can see this right along the Canadian border where the cold air is going to be. Better chance for some snow. And this is right through tomorrow afternoon. Parts of Maine dealing with the snow. New Hampshire, Vermont, upstate New York, there's going to be snow showers into the afternoon and into the evening hours. And this cold air is going to be in place, but now the moisture dries up by tomorrow night. And this is a look now at the snowfall totals we're expecting here at the Weather Channel. The purple, the dark purple there, about 8 to 12 inches. So up to a foot of snow, a possibility. 5 to 8 inches here, and then 3 to 5 going into 1 to 3. So mainly the northern locations, we're going to be dealing with some snow, but it's going to feel colder all the way down to the coast. And for tomorrow, you have that dip in the jet stream, and then we're going to get a little bit of a break. Here comes the ridge. As that sneaks by, temperatures bounce back up a couple degrees, and then they cool back down by the end of the weekend. So it's a 1-2 punch, and not extremely dramatic, but we're going to see some differences for sure. Tomorrow, 49 in Boston, 52 in New York, and then by Saturday, still in the 40s. New York a little bit cooler. That's 8 degrees cooler than average, that 48. And then on Sunday, warms up a bit. About 7 more degrees in New York, 55 there. Lower 40s in Burlington, and it's close to average. For Pittsburgh, tomorrow 41, 48 on Saturday, and 47 on Sunday. Highs staying in the 40s for you in Pittsburgh, but all through, Kelly, that is cooler than average. Average high 55.
And it's going to get a lot worse. As we mentioned off the top, some of the coldest air of the season is about to spread south from Canada, and it could actually enhance some of that snow as we get into the rest of next week. Storm specialist Carl Parker is covering that part of the story now from the lab. Hey, Carl.
Kelly, it's really interesting because a lot of this is seasonal. We expect that cold air will build in the northern latitudes and then spill down into the U.S. getting into this time of the year. But there's also another factor, and that is a typhoon on the other side of the world that's going to help to bring down even more cold air. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. So let's talk about the seasonal part of it first of all. And as you know, the sun is a lot lower in the sky at this time of the year, so much so that areas around the Arctic Circle are in a permanent night right now, and that really allows that cold air to build and then eventually sink southward. And there's a lot of snow on the ground on top of that, and when there's snow on the ground, that means sunshine radiates back out to space. That also means that the air that's over that snow is being chilled by the snow. It acts like a refrigerator, so when air masses, cold air masses, drive southward, they are able to stay colder with a lot of snow on the ground. So with those factors in place, you've got this very cold air building, and again, it's going to start to spill southward getting into the early part of next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday gets a lot chillier across a lot of the country, but that's only part of the story. The other part of the story is this typhoon that's feeding into a low, and that low is going to end up in the western end of the Aleutian Island chain. It's going to be one of the strongest storms that we've ever seen in this part of the world. We're going to talk a lot more about this very powerful storm coming up at about 20 minutes after the hour. And right in here, those are the Aleutian Islands. They're going to get hammered by this thing. But another thing that storm will do, and especially because part of its DNA was a tropical system, it's got a lot of warm air, a lot of humid air, and there's a lot of energy in warm and humid air that's going to be drawn up, brought up into Alaska and into Western Canada. And what that's going to do is change the temperature and the pressure profile such that it's actually going to bump a little more of that cold air farther southward and enhance the cold that comes down and across Canada and the northern plains. So all that being said, what we're looking for is temperatures to start being below average on Monday across the northern tier of the country. Continues then into Tuesday through the plains, 20 degrees below average in North Platte, 38 for your high in Chicago, and 46 for your high in Oklahoma City. Big turnaround between Sunday and Tuesday in those areas of the plains. And then on Wednesday, 37 in Kansas City, 37 also in Cleveland. That's well below average, and about 54 degrees in Atlanta, 11 degrees below average. So some really chilly air. It's certainly going to feel fall-like and even winter-like in a number of spots. Chris Kelly, back to you.
All right, hot cocoa sounds good right about now. Well, as winter approaches, so does the snow, and like this beautiful snowfall from earlier this week in Maine.
But you may have heard that no two snowflakes are alike. In today's brainstorm, we explain whether this is actually true. That brainstorm is coming up after your local on the 8th.
And we've got to look at the rain that's been affecting us here across southeastern Virginia and Norfolk. Yeah, it's been a wet evening, but thankfully no severe weather.
I state your name.
I, Roger Lesnar.
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will bear true faith.
Residential to commercial, from large loss to emergency response. Whenever damage strikes, call on the cleanup team that's faster to any size disaster at 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
I want to find one girl to help my brand to go on.
I'm excited. I'm going to work for DVF.
I'm gonna kill this thing.
There's a lot of responsibility, maybe more than we were prepared for.
This is an opportunity.
Don't blow it.
House of DVF, Sunday at 10, only on E!
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 66. Winds light and variable. Friday, partly cloudy, high 79. Winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy, low 67. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
If you missed this Sunday night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, every Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
I mean, for the year. Hi, sorry, just want to say, I bundled home an auto with State Farm, saved $760. Love this guy. So sorry.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky!
Savings worth talking about. State Farm.
Let's get a head start on the holidays. Let's open something before Christmas. Not that. Those. And of course, a whole lot of these. Let's make merry, along with a few other things. Deck out that. Save all these and spread more of this. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Trade in your old lights and get up to $5 off the latest LEDs.
Now, snowflakes are a symbol of winter, and there are several different kinds of snowflakes that happen and form during different temperatures of the winter sky and the winter nights or the winter day, whenever they tend to be falling down. Colder the temperatures, you get different types. There's plates, there's columns, all different types of snowflakes. Now, you might be wondering if it's true or not, whether or not two snowflakes are never alike. Well, it's a question made for us here at the Weather Channel. So here's Sam Champion.
A snowflake begins to form when a water droplet freezes around an atmospheric dust particle. This becomes what's called a condensation nucleus and can be just 4 millionths of an inch in diameter. That's 1,000 times smaller than the thickness of a single sheet of paper. In sub-freezing temperatures, the water molecules crystallize around this speck of dust. When this crystal becomes heavier than the surrounding air, it begins to fall. During its approximate 15 to 45 minute trip to the ground, this new snowflake travels through changes in humidity, temperature, and wind. As the flake adds water molecules, each of these atmospheric factors contribute differently to form a unique 6-arm symmetrical pattern. For example, flakes that fall through cold and dry conditions typically have simpler, compact shapes, while those falling through warmer, more humid conditions often have very complex dendrites, or arms. Now, when taking into account the countless subtle variations of weather each crystal can experience, the odds of two snowflakes being exactly the same shape are astronomical. Under a microscope, an average-sized snowflake can easily have more than 100 distinguishable features. And even though every year it's been estimated that 1 septillion snow crystals fall to the ground, that's a 1 with 24 zeros, we'll still likely never see two that are identical.
And as a matter of fact, we do have some snowflakes in your future, especially across the Great Lakes into the Northeast. down south, can't rule it out. Some really cold air is coming back at us. Right now, we're looking at air that's just cold enough. We're seeing some snow right now across the Adirondacks of upstate New York, New England as well. But yeah, tomorrow it's going to really get going. So Maine, it's going to be a tough travel day, especially along the top end of I-95. And you can see that we've got the blue on the map, even as far south as West Virginia in the higher elevations. So that's just one batch of cooler air that we're going to be tracking. Otherwise, you've got the rain showers around Minneapolis, 51. That is a nice temperature compared to what you're going to be seeing all next week. You're going to be lucky if you see anything above freezing. So 39, we're going down. That's your high temperature for Saturday. Some wet weather right around the Great Lakes area from Saginaw right on down towards Toledo, Cleveland, Erie, and Buffalo. In fact, your Bills are at home on Sunday. You're going to have an interesting forecast, maybe a few snow showers moving through the Bills Stadium there. And we've also got Sunday night football here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, taking on the Bears. And we've got the rain changing over to snow. Temperatures are falling through the 30s Sunday into Monday. There's that Arctic front, the really strong one that's going to be coming through the northern Rockies into the Great Lakes region. Your high temperature, Minneapolis, only 32. We don't even get above freezing on Tuesday. And that cold air is going to continue its march toward the east and toward the south. We're not escaping it either here in the south. 57 for a high in Atlanta on Wednesday. A chilly rain moving on through places like Birmingham and also New Orleans. And yes, the lake effect snows. Those will take hold of the eastern lakes on Thursday. Chris?
And Kelly, at one point, Nuri was closer to a Category 5 monster, but now it's not even a typhoon. However, it is what's left of it, expected to have some big impacts, including wind, possibly one for the record books. Carl will explain coming up.
Lowe's presents how to make your guests think they're at the wrong house.
Told you we're in the wrong house.
Go. Mom!
Get $10 off our best Valspar and Olympic interior paint via rebate.
For all the joy they bring and all the love they give, this holiday season, remember to give back to your companions, your co-stars, and your co-conspirators. Petco can help with thousands of gifts on sale, like aquariums or small animal habitats now just $39.99. Plus, earn 5% back with Pals Rewards. Joy, love, pets. Petco, the power of together.
Discover Brookside and discover an exciting combination of tastes. Rich dark chocolate covering soft centers, flavored with exotic fruit juices. It's chocolate and fruit flavors like you've never experienced before. Discover Brookside.
Clean up this holiday with the cordless Dyson DC59 vacuum. Expert service, unbeatable price, Best Buy.
So großartige Autos werden nur in Deutschland gebaut. So großartige Autos werden nur in Deutschland gebaut. So großartige Autos werden nur in Deutschland gebaut. Ach, verdammt! I said it 3 times and it's still not true.
Performance is now an American thing. Introducing the all-new Chrysler 200. America's import.
All day today.
A ballpark flame grilled patty with the guys. Can it get any more American? Boom. Made with 100% beef, bold, juicy, ready in about a minute. Flame grilled freedom.
Eczema can just really put a damper on a lot of things. Constant itching and scratching. I'm not myself.
Gold Bond Eczema Relief Cream. Used daily, it's proven to relieve 5 frustrating symptoms of eczema.
Gold Bond Eczema Relief really works.
My life is about sharing what I've learned in beauty, fashion, and style. It's about trusting who I am, taking chances, and being passionate about what I want. Like partnering with Rooms To Go to create Cindy Crawford Home. Together, we work hard to get every fabric, texture, color, and design just right. And when I think about people choosing my furniture for their home, it makes me smile. Because even though I travel the world, there's no place like home. Come see what's new from Cindy Crawford Home at Rooms To Go.
$69, yours for $19. And Ray-Ban sunglasses for just $85.
If you missed this Sunday night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, every Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your Local on the 8s, brought to you by Duracell, trusted to outlast the storm.
shot. Let's go twins right, 24 stretch.
24 stretch, all diamond. Twins right, 24 stretch, all diamonds on 280.
When the game's on the line,
Hit him with a hard count. See if they'll tip their hand.
the NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
They're blitzing up the gut. Get out of the pocket.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
Currently in our area, 77 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 66. Winds light and variable. Friday, partly cloudy, high 79. Winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy, low 67. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We're here in the lab, storm specialist Carl Parker, to explain what is going to be, we're expecting a bomb over Alaska. We're talking about a meteorological bomb, kind of slang, for what's going to happen in the atmosphere.
Yeah, and we've used that to refer to storms that drop by 24 millibars in 24 hours. And this storm is going to more than do that. It's going to be one of the strongest storms we've ever seen in this part of the world. And we're going to begin with a look at where part of the DNA of this storm is coming from. It's a typhoon that has weakened considerably, and now just a little puff of clouds coming up into the northern part of the Pacific. But you've got this packet of very warm and very humid air that's driving northward, and there's a lot of energy in that warm and humid air, and that is going to mix with another storm that has been coming across Asia and form this incredibly powerful low on the western end of the Aleutian Island chain, and that is going to be on Saturday. So the low pressure here probably getting down to about 920 millibars. We're talking about hurricane force wind, storm surge, incredible wave action. Fortunately, not a lot of people out there in the western part of the Aleutian Islands, which we'll talk about in a moment, but it is going to be one heck of a storm.
And this is now the pressure. You're talking about the drop in pressure. If people are sensitive to pressure changes in their joints, that kind of thing, right? This would be off the charts,
off the charts. Unbelievable. Yeah, so this is a look at different pressure scales. And so the average sea level pressure is 1013 millibars. When we drop by 20 to 30, then you're talking about a typical nor'easter, a typical storm with the rain or snow along that northeast corridor. A strong one might be 960 to 970, and then Superstorm Sandy was 940, and this storm is likely going to be 920, and the strongest storm that we've ever seen that was not tropical was 913 that occurred in the North Atlantic. So it's getting into that territory, into that company.
And that's hard to get. That's rare.
It's really rare. And what that's going to mean is this prolonged period of hurricane force winds. There is a military installation there in Shemya, and there are about 180 military personnel there, and they're going to be an incredibly strong wind from Friday into Sunday.
All right, stay with the Weather Channel all weekend long. Here's Kelly.
Thanks so much, guys. Well, severe winter weather usually means power outages. Some of the worst can last for days. Earlier this week, Anaritas Rodriguez met a team determined to charge up communities left in the dark.
Winter weather can be beautiful, but it can also be brutal. Each year, snow and ice storms down power lines, often plunging entire communities into the cold and dark for long periods.
If you've ever been without power for an hour, that's no fun. But try it for a couple weeks.
To help storm victims cope with life without power, Duracell has created the Power Forward Fleet.
The Duracell Power Forward Fleet is actually a line of 5 vehicles made very specific for the regions in which they live in. It's simply to help out during a natural disaster.
These purpose-built power relief vehicles deploy to storm sites from 5 strategic hubs across the country.
Our brand new hub system is so important. It actually is what allows us to reach a disaster within 24 hours.
Once at a storm site, the Power Forward vehicles provide communities with access to their onboard Wi-Fi, computer, and mobile phone and tablet charging stations.
When it comes to a natural disaster, communication is key. I've seen so many times that people come up and charge a phone really quickly just to make that all-important call to mom and just say, by the way, look, we're okay. We weathered the storm.
Look at this. And on every truck, there are plenty of these.
This is a warehouse full of batteries, and you've handed out a lot.
We have handed out over 350,000 batteries, helping over 30,000 families.
And this helps people power up their flashlights, their weather radios.
All those key items that you miss without power.
Key elements that may need powering again this winter if it turns out to be anything like last year's.
Well, some communities are better prepared to handle winters than others. Our winter weather expert Tom Nizzle looks at which cities are most at risk. We'll be right back.
Winter Prep Rally is brought to you by Duracell, trusted to outlast the storm.
I've got one shot. Let's go twins right, 24 stretch.
24 stretch, all diamonds. Twins right, 24 stretch. All diamonds on touring.
When the game's on the line,
Hit them with a hard count. See if they'll tip their hand.
the NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
They're blitzing up the gut. Get out of the pocket.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
Right, these should be good. Oh, well, that didn't work. Henry? Gorilla. It never works. Gorilla Super Glue. Of course.
Other super glues get brittle and break. Gorilla Super Glue's rubber-toughened formula holds even after repeated drops and bumps.
Oh, thanks. You know, this reminds me of the time, and you're gone.
Gorilla Super Glue, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
At Planners, we know how to throw a remarkable holiday party. Just serve classy snacks and be a gracious host, no matter who shows up. Richard, didn't think you were going to make it.
Hey, sorry about last week. I don't know what got into me.
Yeah, well, forgive and forget. Kind of. I don't think so.
Did you guys see that? Do you like nuts?
In the nation, misfortune doesn't take a holiday. But add brand new belongings from Nationwide and we'll replace stolen or destroyed items with brand new versions. Making sure every season is the season of giving. Just another way we put members first. Join the nation.
Nationwide is on your side.
Thought it'd be bigger.
There's nothing I can't reach in my Subaru.
Introducing the all-new Subaru Outback. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
So here's the story of Lancaster. The year is 1890. Milton Hershey has a killer recipe for caramel. Flash forward, Milton's recipe is reimagined into buttery, rich, smooth, surprisingly soft creams. It's Lancaster. It's caramel reimagined.
Make the most of your weekend before it's gone. Be a weekender and book your stay at Hampton.
This week on Weather Channel Mornings, record lows in the east, our first major snowstorm out west, and we're tracking a storm that could affect travel plans for millions. Live team coverage from North Carolina to New England. Watch Wake Up with Al and AMHQ with Sam Champion. This week, only on the Weather Channel Mornings.
Currently in our area, 77 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 66. Winds light and variable. Friday, partly cloudy, high 79. Winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy, low 67. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Monday night this fall.
What is it that produces these things?
The Weather Channel unlocks the secrets of the Earth. The all-new season continues Monday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
And here on Copper Mountain, we have a lot of folks up here skiing on some man-made snow. We're going to tell you how they're making the snow and how you can be prepared for the upcoming winter season. That's all coming up.
All right, that'll get you in the mood, right?
I think so.
Fresh snow? Well,
sure.
Except if you're traveling, I guess, right? That's no fun. Welcome back to Weather Center Live. I'm Kelly Cass along with Chris Warren, and we are getting you ready for the cold and for millions. It's coming very soon.
But first, we want to show you what's happening right now on the radar. Show you where there is some rain coming down. Also, a little bit of snow, not a ton yet in the U.S. Most of the snow's in Canada right now, but parts of New York and New England, seeing some of the snow in parts of Michigan. Also dealing with just a little bit of snow right now. Temperatures too warm to support snow in most areas. Higher elevations likely picking up some snow. But we look at Albany here, 44. Go up to Saranac Lake. It is in the 30s. Meanwhile, here, parts of Michigan, Detroit, you're seeing a few showers. Cleveland, mainly off to the west, is where you're dealing with most of the rain right now. Then over into Indiana, Fort Wayne, 41 with some rain coming down. And here's a look at the wind. Winds gusting almost 50 miles an hour. We did see it stronger than 50 miles an hour in Michigan City right now at 47 miles an hour. And Columbus, Ohio, gusting to 32. Cincinnati, it's dry right now, some showers around, and it does look like things will stay mostly dry because we're dealing with dry weather right now. But in the next hour or so at kickoff, there will be a chance for some rain, and then the wind could be a factor as well out of the west-northwest. At times, Kelly, up around 20 miles an hour.
Oh, that's kind of brutal, but we're also going to talk about some snow for some of you. And as I mentioned earlier, the ski resorts, definitely looking forward to a nice dose of snow. And as a matter of fact, the Adirondacks, we're going to get that base going. I don't think anybody's open here yet, but I know Killington's open in Vermont, and we're also expecting some snow. Now, initially, it may start off as rain, but then the cold air moves in. We see that rain change over to snow. That's indicated in the blue right here. Now we're at 5:30 in the morning, and that snow is going to be heavy at times from northern Vermont through northern New Hampshire, and especially up here in Maine, where Caribou, you started off the month with about a foot of snow, the record earliest double-digit snowfall on record. And you can see that we also have the snow continuing all the way through your Friday afternoon and evening before it finally dissipates, and then we're just left with partly cloudy skies over the weekend and colder temperatures as well. But here's a look at how much snow we're expecting. 1 to 3 across the heart of the Adirondacks. Also here south of Buffalo, the South Towns, looking to see a few inches of snow. Northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, but especially here, northern Maine. That's where the lighter purple's on the map. Caribou, we're thinking about, up to 8 inches of snow. In that darker shade of purple, we could see up to a foot of snow. And I know a lot of folks lost their power with last weekend's snowstorm. It wasn't just the snow, but the wind, and we're expecting some wind with this system as well. So we've got that one batch of cold air working through tomorrow. Then we warm up slightly before the next Arctic blast over the weekend. And early next week, those temperatures are going to be way below average. So enjoy the relatively mild temperatures while you've got it. Chris?
Kelly, we continue our winter prep rally right now, and we're getting you ready for the upcoming snow and the cold. And some cities we know are better prepared than others. Winter weather expert Tom Nizzle shows us the 5 most vulnerable cities.
That's right. So let's get right to that list of the 5 most vulnerable winter cities in the U.S. And we start at number 5 with Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. has that huge population in the U.S. In fact, that whole metro corridor from Baltimore and up to Philadelphia. Not only the big population, but when they get hit with a winter storm, they can be massive, producing more than 2 feet at times. And when you have the nation's capital and the fact that the federal government can be shut down, this really deserves a nod. So number 5 will be Washington, D.C. On to number 4, Raleigh, North Carolina. And in fact, that whole corridor from Raleigh through Charlotte and into Greenville, Raleigh's not only known for snow, but they're known for ice as well. We have an effect called cold air damming, where we bring cold air in at low levels of the atmosphere, and that can produce some significant ice events there, and they are not set up to handle that kind of winter weather in Raleigh. Number 3, Little Rock, Arkansas. Little Rock is interesting, and in fact, all of Arkansas is, because they can tap moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, and they also get Arctic air from the plains. This can result in major snows and major ice storms. They've had a number of these in history, and once again, Little Rock, as much as you try, Mother Nature is going to overwhelm you. Then we go down into the southern plains. Dallas, a huge population, and Dallas is an area where cold air can shoot right down from the plains, lies along low surfaces there. Dallas is known for icing dangers in particular, and they certainly are not set up in a cost-benefit analysis for the city to pre-treat or treat those roads. Certainly our number 2. Dallas is a relatively flat area, though, everybody. We're going to go to Atlanta, Georgia, and by the way, if you've never been to Atlanta, there's a lot of hills in Atlanta. You put those hills down and you put some ice down in Atlanta, and you're not going anywhere. And we saw this last year where it stranded tens of thousands of motorists in an ice and snow event. My number 1 most vulnerable city in the United States for winter weather, Atlanta, Georgia.
And we got stuck at work thanks to Winter Storm Leon. That picture, by the way, that we just showed you was right outside the Weather Channel headquarters. But you didn't let that stop you. You walked in that snow.
Well, thanks to Julie Martin, who was reporting outside here at the time, and I saw people were backed up. It looked like that in some cases. Like, I'm walking to work.
I mean, yeah, people were stranded in their cars for hours. A lot of those cars ran out of gas, and people had to be rescued from their cars. My husband took 10 hours to take my daughter home from school that day.
And there's absolutely, I mean, it was mind-boggling to see how they were going to deal with this, because you get cars that run out of gas, you know, and you're bumper to bumper. There's nothing you can do about it.
It looks like just like The Walking Dead, right?
It really does.
Well, some of you like the snow, especially if you're a skier. And when it comes to making snow, nature does it best, but ski resorts across the country aren't waiting. As
meteorologist Kate Parker reports, the 24/7 snowmaking effort is already underway.
Mammoth Mountain, California, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and right here in Copper Mountain, Colorado. Ski resorts aren't waiting on winter. They need snow now. And when it doesn't come from the clouds, it's born here in Copper Mountain's pump rooms.
Don't wait for Mother Nature. We do it ourselves.
For snowmaking manager Mike Looney, the process starts with water, a lot of water. It takes 180,000 gallons to cover 1 acre with a foot of snow. And because there's very little natural snow right now, some of these pumps are running around the clock.
This is snowmaking in the air.
Copper Mountain has 700 of these snow guns. Inside here, the water is atomized into tiny particles. Compressed air shoots out those droplets that freeze as snow before they hit the ground. Copper Mountain likes to have an 18-inch snow base before they open for the season. But in order to do that, the weather has to cooperate. And something very important, the wet bulb temperature.
The ambient temperature mixed with the relative humidity. We fire our stuff up at 28 degrees wet bulb.
The wet bulb reading tells Looney when the water droplets will properly freeze as snow. The colder and drier the air, the better. But with the right wet bulb temperature, it's possible to make snow even when the temperature is above freezing.
It can be as high as 37 degrees ambient, and we can make snow.
Man can't completely copy Mother Nature's beauty. Take a look under a microscope. The natural snow on the left forms in flakes. The man-made snow looks like little snowballs.
A grain of sand would be one of these particulates. It's consistent, it is stable, it's safe.
And when Mother Nature doesn't do its job, the snowmaking team at Copper Mountain can pick up the slack, creating the perfect powder for skiers all season long. I'm meteorologist Kate Parker, the Weather Channel.
Well, we want you to see and hear this amazing video of a tornado in Italy.
And we'll show you the whole thing in its entirety.
You're sledding on a winter's day. The only thing on your mind is having a good time.
But this winter wonderland hides danger.
Look at that big crack. Is that a big crack next to him right here?
And it's right below your feet. It's thin ice. Onlookers rush to your aid.
Somebody get a branch.
It's no use. The rescuer has fallen in as well. Your situation couldn't be more dire. So what's the first thing you should do if you fall into deadly freezing water? Do you A, waste no time pulling yourself out of the water? B, control your breathing by taking slow, deep breaths? Or C, submerge your head underwater to better acclimate yourself to the extreme cold?
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 66. Winds light and variable. Friday, partly cloudy, high 79. Winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy, low 67. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
State your name.
I, Ronnie Orlando.
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will bear true
Old El Paso frozen entrees in freezers near you.
Help us help those in need. Bring in a coat to Burlington. Get 10% off our everyday low prices.
Ready?
Yep, let's do this.
Hey, I'm Melissa Joan Hart.
And I'm Anthony Anderson. And guess what? The holiday season starts right now.
Yep, so head to Walmart now for unbeatable prices on food, decorations, and the top gifts of the season, all at unbeatable prices.
You can also go to Walmart.com to get what you need for the holidays. My man. Walmart's here to help you save money and make holiday shopping easier than ever.
So you can make every day till Christmas count.
Let the joy begin! There's my ride home.
Oh, Blitzen.
No, that's Donner.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin. Blah, blah, insurance. Person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. 6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you get to a better state.
Let's get a head start on the holidays. Let's open something before Christmas. Not that. Those. And of course, a whole lot of these. Let's make merry, along with a few other things. Deck out that. Save all these and spread more of this. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Trade in your old lights and get up to $5 off the latest LEDs.
This is a map of the pressure points on my feet.
I had flat feet. I learned where the stress was at the Dr. Scholl's Foot Mapping Center. Then I got my number, which matched the custom fit orthotic inserts with the right support.
Go to drscholl's.com for locations and save $10.
I'm a believer.
Are we still on for tomorrow?
Tomorrow is full of promise.
We can come back tomorrow.
And we promise to keep it that way. CSX, how tomorrow moves.
What a day.
Can't wait till tomorrow. There is no car in this accident. Because there was no accident. Volvo's most advanced accident avoidance systems ever. The future of safety
from the company that has always brought you the future of safety. Give the gift of Volvo this season, and we'll give you your first month's payment on us.
Hershey's Spreads. Bring the delicious taste of Hershey's chocolate to anything. Everything. With Hershey's Spreads, the possibilities are delicious.
What's important to remember is ice is not uniformly thick from the edge to the center. The ice tends to get thinner the further you move out towards the center of a body of water, especially in an area that doesn't commonly receive heavy freezes or cold temperatures. The best advice is to stay off the ice.
Now that you've fallen through the ice, what's the first thing to do to keep yourself alive? You'll give yourself a fighting chance if you choose B first.
When you find yourself in cold water, you first have to get your breathing and your swimming under control. Then you have to figure out, can I get out of the water? And what's the best, safest, and quickest way to do that?
The other kid's gonna do it.
Only after your breathing is under control should you focus pulling yourself free.
You may have some luck getting your elbows up, trying to force the ice down a little bit and act as a ramp to get you out. Also, you may find that if you try to lay as close to flat as you can, it may be easier to roll onto the ice. If you happen to make your way out, you don't want to stand up on the ice, because as you stand up on the ice, you're going to concentrate your body weight in that one location. Continue to lay down and crawl back to shore.
All right, now you know, and we'll be seeing those lakes perhaps forming a little bit of ice in the coming days as we're tracking quite the Arctic blast next week, especially across the upper Midwest. Here in Texas, not the case for you. It's pretty mild. We do have rain that's starting to break up a little bit now across the heart of Texas. San Antonio, 5 inches of rain over the past few days, and this is actually a welcome rain for Texas. We've been in drought for so long, and it's only gotten worse recently, so it's nice to see the rainfall there. And you'll notice that this moisture that we're tracking right now over southern Texas, we're going to track it across the Gulf and eventually impact us here in Florida, where the weather has been so beautiful lately, but I'm afraid just in time for the weekend, we will have some showers and some storms to deal with. But it looks like by 8 o'clock on Sunday night, we're okay as that thing heads out to sea. Now we take you up the coast, up towards Virginia. You can see some heavy rain right over Richmond, as a matter of fact, along Interstate 95. Check out Norfolk and over toward the Hampton Roads area. It has been pouring. Thankfully, not severe weather, but still, we've got a look to show you what it looks like if you're going to be doing any traveling in this area. Norfolk, Virginia, clouds. You can see the cars moving right along, but if you look closely, you can see some splashes every once in a while, too. Windshield wipers having to go pretty fast at times to keep up with this rainfall. There's Virginia Beach on the bottom of your screen as well. So not the prettiest of evenings from Virginia Beach back towards Raleigh. There's that heavy rain now working its way into the suburbs of western Raleigh, into the downtown area as well. May see some brief gusty winds with this, but otherwise below severe threshold. You can see up towards Wausau and Richmond, as I mentioned, along Interstate 95, dealing with the rain. And Dover, not done yet with the rain. Here comes another little batch of rain working its way towards you. Earlier, we had Atlantic City under a severe thunderstorm warning about a few hours ago. Thankfully, things are quiet now along the boardwalk. Chris, over to you.
And Kelly, not so quiet at all in the Pacific Northwest. Wind has been an issue. If you look here, you can see as we look out over Elliott Bay, Puget Sound, you can see the ripples in the water. It is windy. Also, we are able to see the camera itself doing a little bit of a shake, not too far away from sunset right now, which means this time of year, that's evening commute time. And the commute is brutal for a lot of people. When you see wind like this, trees have come down, branches have come down on the roads. It's making for a pretty messy evening commute. It is wet and it is windy in the Pacific Northwest because of this area of low pressure that's moving in, and behind it you have this cool, unsettled weather that is bringing some windy conditions with it. Dry right now in Seattle, but you're seeing the wind gusts up to 32 miles an hour. The North Sound dealing with still some rain moving into parts of the interior here. A different story completely in Southern California. The message here is be careful at the beaches because it is warm and it is hot in some cases. The offshore flow taking the air from the land to the ocean. The land is much warmer, and when this air goes down the mountains, it compresses, it heats even more, it dries even more, and then you have the wind going through the passes and the canyons. That'll speed up the winds, and all three of those, the heat, the dry, and the wind makes things unfavorable for fire weather. And the fire threat does exist right now. Not as strong of winds as we saw earlier, but it is dry and it remains warm. We'll be right back on Weather Center Live.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer, and our big Idaho potato truck is still missing. So my buddy here is going to help me find it. There we go! It's out there somewhere, spreading the word about America's favorite potato, heart-healthy Idaho potatoes, and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. If you see it, I hope you'll let us know. Always look for the Grown in Idaho seal.
Life isn't measured in how many days we have, but what we do with them. This year you could do what you've always done, or you could awaken your senses and connect with the world as it was meant to be. That voice inside you, that's Alaska calling. Because vacations, like days, are measured by what we do with them. And here, the days last forever. Begin your adventure at AlaskaBeyondYourDreams.com.
If you missed this Sunday night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, every Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
All day today, a day dedicated to prepping and surviving winter's worst.
Yeah, it's brutal.
The Winter Weather Prep Rally continues all day on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 66. Winds light and variable. Friday, partly cloudy, high 79. Winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy, low 67. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
You get sick, you can't breathe through your nose. Suddenly, you're a mouth breather. A mouth breather. Well, put on a Breathe Right strip and shut your mouth. Cold medicines open your nose over time, but add a Breathe Right strip and pow, it opens your nose up to 38% more, so you can breathe and do the one thing you want to do, sleep. Add Breathe Right to your cold medicine, shut your mouth, and sleep right. Breathe Right. And look for the calming scent of new Breathe Right lavender in the sleep aisle.
So here's the story of Lancaster. The year is 1890. Milton Hershey has a killer recipe for caramel. Flash forward, Milton's recipe is reimagined into buttery, rich, smooth, surprisingly soft creams. It's Lancaster. It's caramel reimagined.
良質熟練の技革新1000年の歴史を持つ文化が最先端の製造技術を使うと待てよあれこれってクライスラー
Reliability is now an American thing. Introducing the all-new Chrysler 200, America's import.
We believe in ideas. We believe that first step can change everything. We believe the small things.
Mom and Dad told us they had just made their funeral and burial prearrangements. We thought they already had taken care of that. When we learned it was through Beth Israel and Eternal Light, we knew everything would be handled in the most caring and professional way. We realized it would be one of the most difficult days of our lives. It inspired my husband and me to make our own prearrangements so the burden wouldn't fall on our children when that day comes. It's not an easy thing to think about, but I'm so glad we did.
Hey, Matt, what's up?
Just looking over the company bills.
Is that what we pay for internet?
Yep, DSL's about $90 a month.
That's funny. For that price with Comcast Business, I think you get like 50 megabits.
Wow, that's fast.
Personally, I prefer slow internet. There is something about the sweet, meditative glow of a loading website.
Don't listen to the naysayer. Switch to Comcast Business today and get 50 megabits per second for $89.95. Comcast Business, built for business.
Try not to travel.
In the morning.
You've got our winter weather outlook.
And at night.
This is an incredibly deadly time of year.
Yeah, it's brutal. The Winter Weather Prep Rally continues all day on the Weather Channel.
Get this out, everybody. We get tornadoes here in this country, but this is actually over in southern Italy, in Sicily, in Catania, where they actually had a tornado caught on camera.
See the debris going by and just flying around. Look too close to the windows.
Yeah, I'm worried about that glass window right there in the doors, but hopefully they realize maybe just how far away it is, although from this vantage point, it looks like some of those objects could hit them.
You give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, this is two-dimensional that we're looking at.
Right.
It's hard to tell exactly how close or how far away they are from the windows, but we do know that you do not want to be near windows because debris flying in the air, it can crash through the windows.
Certainly very scary, but also, you know, kind of neat to watch as long as nobody gets hurt, nobody gets killed. But obviously, there was some damage created by that thing. You can see it right there, the broken glass and the stuff on the ground. Wow. Pretty incredible. So we're not the only, we haven't had a tornado in our country in a while, by the way, which is good. We're happy to have a little break in the severe weather season.
And here's Storm Specialist Carl Parker standing by in the lab. What do you think, Carl?
You know, it was interesting to see that these tornadoes actually happen in the morning, so that tells you this must have been a really dynamic parent system without the benefit of that daytime heating, and really dramatic wind there for a while. Look at that. See that stuff kind of coming off the roof across the street, and the guy's just standing there, as you mentioned, right in front of the big plate glass window. Doesn't seem like it's necessarily the best idea, but glad to see that they're all okay. All right, so let's talk about winter weather, and we're going to get a lot of it, especially next week. First of all, we've got a more minor system coming through, and that low is now centered right around the lakes. It'll be coming through the northeast as well, a secondary low developing along the coast. And we're getting some rain right now in parts of the northeast, but we expect to see that changing over into snow. Some hints of what's to come right now in the Adirondacks, a little bit of snow there, now west of 87. And here is the model forecast showing you the coastal low developing later tonight and into early tomorrow. We expect to see the snow really coming out here in Maine, as well as northern Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York, and then into southern Quebec. It's going to be a pretty healthy snowstorm in Montreal and Quebec City. And then it finally will wind down, we think, by late tomorrow. So in Caribou, the heaviest snow is likely tomorrow morning and through the early afternoon, and then it will taper off to more snow showers late in the day. And we're thinking probably about 5 to 8 inches across northern Maine, including Caribou. And generally outside of that, it's going to be about 1 to 3 in the Adirondacks, as well as back into western parts of New York around the Finger Lakes and Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties. It's been a really busy start to the season in Maine. In Bangor, we've had a foot of snow. We averaged 2.3 in the month of November, and we averaged 10.5 in Caribou, and we've had already nearly a foot of snow. Now, next week is going to be really interesting because we've got a low coming down. You know about the cold air. There's going to be this big push of cold air in the eastern two-thirds of the country. And our GFS model, our American model, is showing a low coming into the Ohio Valley and a stripe of snow well to the north of that through parts of the plains and the Midwest. And right now, the ensemble members of the GFS model all over the place, all over the place. And you'd expect that because this is a little ways off. So here's what the GFS model is telling us in terms of snowfall. It shows a stripe of snow in parts of Iowa and then coming down into Illinois, Michigan, then eventually into parts of New England as well. But the European model showing a really, really different solution. The European model is a really good model, as you know. And what the European model is saying right now is that it's going to be a stronger low and it will have more cold air to work with, and the low is going to be farther to the north, and that would mean a significant snowstorm for parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. That is Tuesday morning, what we were looking at right there. So this is what the European model is showing us in terms of accumulation, showing a large area of heavy snow there in parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin, as well as northern lower Michigan and the UP. So obviously those models are really far apart, and again, the ensemble members of these models also showing a lot of variance right now. So we'll close in on that over the weekend. We'll get a much better idea, but we want you to know that there is a possibility that we'll be in for a significant snowstorm in the Midwest and parts of New England come next week. Chris Kelly, back to you.
Always good to get that heads up and get that shovel and the snow blower and everything else that you might need for next week, right?
For a lot of people, it's going to be the first big blast.
We'll stay right there. We'll get an update on the rain in the east. That's coming up right after your local on the 8th.
In the meantime, have a great evening.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 66. Winds light and variable. Friday, partly cloudy, high 79. Winds north-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy, low 67. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
To tell you about before Weather Channel prime time. Here's a look at some wet weather going on in deep South Texas between Victoria, Corpus Christi, all the way down towards Brownsville. It's been a welcome rain for the most part. Places like San Antonio picking up 5 inches of rain over the last few days. We also take you over toward the North Carolina, Virginia area where we're tracking some heavy rain at times. A little bit of lightning with this as well, right along the border, the state border here. And earlier we did have some severe thunderstorms that we were tracking. None of this is severe right now. Just some very heavy rain, perhaps a little bit of gusty wind. There's Raleigh getting some heavy rain in the downtown right now. It is just pouring out there. Also tracking some rain moving past Virginia Beach, but another round about to work its way in from the west. Richmond, you just got done with some heavy rain not too long ago. And here's a look at Dover getting another little shower about to move on through as well. New Jersey, we had severe weather earlier across the southern part of the state, and now we're tracking just plain old wet weather across Cape Cod. Strangest weather on earth is coming up next. Thanks for watching.
In snow-covered mountains, eerie figures haunt the landscape.
They look like monsters. Pretty spooky.
A mega windstorm blows in more than a little dust.
Oh my God!
It's a big mess. I hope we don't see this again.
One of the weirdest places on Earth where you can drive through the sky. From out of nowhere, a strange snowstorm hits. It's total whiteout in minutes.
Wow. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
And get ready to witness weather at its strangest and fastest. Welcome to the wild world of weather, where you'll see nature go nuts. Extraordinary events stranger than anything Hollywood can dream up. We discover how and why these crazy conditions happen.
Whoa!
Woo! You won't believe your eyes. This is the strangest weather on Earth. San Diego, California. October 2010. A fighter jet roars across the sky. Suddenly, there's a burst of white surrounding the wings. The crowds watch in amazement. This isn't an engine malfunction, and the jet isn't about to explode. By slowing the footage down, this amazing vision becomes clear. As the plane approaches the speed of sound, it is momentarily engulfed by a blast of cloud. This is strange weather at its fastest. meteorologist Steph Golter explains exactly how this bizarre cloud is formed.
To form a sonic boom cloud, you need two things, really. You need a lot of moisture in the air, and you also need a plane traveling really, really fast. As the plane's hurtling along and getting faster and faster, the air ahead of the wing is all becoming really compressed, but behind it is all stretching out. And that allows the pressure here to drop. That allows the air to expand, and as it expands, it cools. And that cooling allows the water vapor to condense, and that's why the cloud forms.
It's the sudden change in pressure from high to low that creates this cloud formation. Steph demonstrates exactly how this pressure change works.
So we can imagine this to be our atmosphere then, and inside we've got some air and we've also got some moisture as well. Now we can pretend that this is our atmosphere around the plane, and we can show that going from high pressure to low pressure creates a sonic boom cloud. Now, I've only got two hands, so I'm going to need a little bit of help in order to make the pressure here a lot higher. Now this is what happens ahead of the wing. The air is all being compressed, but suddenly as the air passes over the wing, the high pressure goes to low pressure and you've got a cloud.
Former Navy fighter pilot Pete Ross has witnessed the sonic boom cloud firsthand.
It's really the shock wave that's created by the wings that is going to create that conical vapor cloud. So somewhere aft of here, you know, if you drew a circle around this airplane, including the wingspan, the big disc would be back here, and it may blank out the entire aft end of the airplane. It's just spectacular. I mean, it's a man-made phenomenon. There's nothing in nature. You never walk around and see a spontaneously induced shockwave cloud.
So it seems that even a plane can trigger strange weather events. Zhou, Japan, February 2011. In these snow-covered mountains, strange monsters haunt the landscape. Eerie figures standing in armies of thousands. Could they be cousins of the legendary Yeti monster? One brave man